How long before we get a vaccine against COVID-19 here in the US? Well, if Donald Trump is to be believed, it will be in a matter of weeks. At least that's what he's been telling recent campaign rallies. His advisors reportedly talk about the prospect of getting a vaccine in place before the election on November the 3rd as the Holy Grail, and certainly it would enable him to argue that his administration has turned the corner on the virus. When I interviewed Stephen Hahn, he's the man who, as head of the Food and Drug Administration, will actually give the green light to any vaccine, he told me that he was willing to give an authorization to a vaccine even before the end of phase 3 clinical trials. That made me think that a pre-election vaccine was very much on the cards. But now I'm not so sure. It turns out the FDA has been talking to drug companies recently about an additional set of guidelines which would make it almost impossible to have a vaccine in place by November the 3rd. These guidelines include the stipulation that any drug company applying for an approval should have monitored at least half their trial participants for at least 2 months after their final injection before that company then applies for their approval. Even for those companies that started the process early, this would push them well into November by the time that they are ready to submit the paperwork. So, when Dr. Hahn and Anthony Fauci, the head of the National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Diseases, both went to the Senate and told them that they didn't think that there would be a vaccine in place before November, I don't think that they were talking out of an abundance of caution. I think they meant it.